Commander John Hayes stood at the back of the Grand Council chamber, his patience wearing thin. For 3 days, he had watched the aliens dismiss every human concern, as if they were children asking for too many sweets. The massive room was filled with representatives from 17 different alien species, all part of the so-called Galactic Council. Hayes crossed his arms and leaned against the wall. His military uniform felt too tight around his neck today. He focused on Ambassador Maria Gonzalez, who was trying once again to explain Earth's territorial claims. As we have stated before, Maria said, her voice steady despite her frustration, these colonies were established before we even knew about the Council's existence. We simply ask for recognition of our current borders. The green-skinned alien named HFY waved his long, tentacle-like arms. These humans demand recognition of star systems they have barely explored, he said to the other council members. Many nodded in agreement. They plant a flag and claim ownership. This is not how galactic civilization works. Hayes noticed something the diplomats seemed to miss. The way HFY looked at the Tralaxian representative before speaking. How the bird-like Avari always supported whatever the Tralaxians said. It was like watching a play where everyone knew their lines except the humans. After 2 weeks of these talks, Hayes was sure of one thing. This was all for show. The real decisions had been made long before Earth joined these discussions. He took out his secure comm device and sent a message to Admiral Laura Peterson. They're stalling us. We need to consider Echo 7. Echo 7 was their backup plan if negotiations failed. Hayes didn't want to think about what that might mean for Earth's future in the galaxy. Back in her quarters aboard the Earth ship Resolute, Admiral Peterson read Hayes' message with a deep frown. She had hoped the Council would be different from human politics, but power games seemed universal. She gathered her senior staff. It appears we're being led in circles, she told them. Prepare contingency Echo 7. I want options on my desk within 24 hours. Meanwhile, Maria continued her presentation, showing images of human settlements on Proxima Centauri, Earth's oldest colony. Our people have lived here for 15 years, she explained. We've built farms, schools, and research centers. All we ask is formal recognition of our presence. The Tralaxian representative, Voxnar, interrupted. We have reports of human military vessels in that system. Are these peaceful settlements or forward bases? Maria kept her composure. We maintain standard defense forces to protect civilian populations, as does every member of this council. Perhaps, said HFY, but you are not members of this council. Not yet. That evening, Hayes received an urgent message from Proxima Centauri. The colony governor reported 3 encounters with unknown ships that disappeared when approached. The council had promised no unauthorized vessels would enter human space during peace talks. Hayes showed the report to Maria in her private office. They promised protection while we negotiate, she said, her calm facade finally breaking. Meanwhile, someone is probing our defenses. Not someone, Hayes replied. The Tralaxians. Look at the scanner data. The energy signatures match their scout ships. Maria sank into her chair. Why invite us to peace talks while planning something hostile? Classic strategy, Hayes said. Keep your enemy talking while you position your forces. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Maria stared at the star map on her wall, showing Earth's small territory among the vast council-controlled space. We continue for now, she decided, but we need proof of their deception. Something the full council can't ignore. Hayes nodded. I'll have our ships collect whatever evidence they can find. But Maria, I don't think the council wants to hear the truth. I think they're all in on it. As he left her office, Hayes couldn't shake the feeling that Earth had walked into a trap dressed as diplomacy. The only question was how to get out of it before the trap closed completely. Day 17 of peace talks arrived with tension filling the air. Ambassador Maria Gonzalez entered the council chamber with a metal case in her hands. Commander Hayes followed close behind, his face showing no emotion despite his racing heart. The council recognizes Earth's representative, announced the tall, blue-skinned moderator. Maria placed the case on the central table. Honored council members, for over 2 weeks we have discussed boundaries and territories. Today I bring evidence that cannot be ignored. She opened the case and activated a holographic display. It showed detailed scans of ships moving through the Ta-CD system, Earth's second oldest colony. These vessels entered our claimed territory 3 days ago, Maria said. They began mining operations on the 4th planet without permission. The Trilaxian representative, Voxnar, stood up quickly. These are serious accusations. Earth lacks the sensor technology to make such detailed scans. These images must be fake. Maria smiled slightly. We anticipated your response. She reached into the case and pulled out a twisted piece of metal. This was recovered by our patrol ships after one of your mining vessels abandoned it during a hasty departure. The metal piece clearly showed Trilaxian writing and their government seal. The council room erupted in loud voices. Some demanded to examine the evidence. Others called for immediate sanctions against the Trilaxians. HFY, the green-skinned leader, who often dismissed human concerns, called for order. We will need time to verify these claims, he said. I call for a 2-day recess. As the council members filed out, Commander Hayes noticed how HFY and Voxnar exchanged worried glances. In a private room aboard the human diplomatic ship, Admiral Peterson met with Hayes and a small team of military and intelligence officers. Show me everything, Peterson ordered. Lieutenant Alex Franklin, their intelligence specialist, displayed more detailed scans on the wall screen. The Trilaxians aren't just mining, he explained. Look at these structures they're building. Hayes studied the images. Those aren't mining equipment. Those are weapon platforms disguised as mining operations. Exactly, Franklin confirmed. And they're not just in Ta-CD. We've detected similar activities in 3 other systems near our territory. Admiral Peterson's face darkened. They're surrounding us while pretending to negotiate. It gets worse, Franklin continued. Our analysts believe these are first strike weapons. They're designed to hit quickly and without warning. Hayes slammed his fist on the table. They're preparing for war while talking about peace. Peterson turned to her communication officer. I need a secure line to President Carter. Now, back on Earth, President William Carter received their report in the White House Situation Room. Around him sat the leaders of Earth's most powerful nations. This evidence is clear, said the Chinese president. They see us as a threat to be eliminated, or resources to be taken, added the European Union Chancellor. President Carter stood up. His normally friendly face was now stern and determined. We came to these talks in good faith. We hoped to join a peaceful galactic community. Instead, we found deception and threats. He looked at each leader in turn. I propose we withdraw from these negotiations immediately. The room fell silent as they considered the implications. Withdrawal might trigger the very conflict we hope to avoid, warned the African Union representative. Staying in fake talks while they prepare to attack us is worse, countered the Russian president. After hours of debate, they reached agreement. President Carter gave the order. The next morning, Maria Gonzalez entered the council chamber alone. The alien representatives fell silent at her serious expression. Representatives of Earth, thank you for the opportunity to participate in these discussions, she began formally. However, we have determined that continued talks are not productive at this time. Confused murmurs spread through the chamber. Earth is officially withdrawing from peace negotiations, effective immediately, Maria continued. Our delegation will depart within 6 hours. HFY rose from his seat. This is most unfortunate. Perhaps if your concerns about the Trilaxians. Our concerns extend beyond the Trilaxians, Maria interrupted. We now question the sincerity of the entire council. As she turned to leave, an ancient female alien with silvery skin named Talmera spoke up. You make a grave mistake, humans. Maria paused at the door. No, respected Talmera. The mistake was yours. when you decided to treat us as fools instead of equals." With those words, humanity turned its back on the Galactic Council. Day 17 of peace talks arrived with tension filling the air. Ambassador Maria Gonzalez entered the council chamber with a metal case in her hands. Commander Hayes followed close behind, his face showing no emotion despite his racing heart. "The council recognizes Earth's representative," announced the tall, blue-skinned moderator. Maria placed the case on the central table. "Honored council members, for over 2 weeks we have discussed boundaries and territories. Today I bring evidence that cannot be ignored." She opened the case and activated a holographic display. It showed detailed scans of ships moving through the Ta Ceti system, Earth's second oldest colony. "These vessels entered our claimed territory 3 days ago," Maria said. "They began mining operations on the 4th planet without permission." The Trilaxian representative, Voxnar, stood up quickly. "These are serious accusations. Earth lacks the sensor technology to make such detailed scans. These images must be fake." Maria smiled slightly. "We anticipated your response." She reached into the case and pulled out a twisted piece of metal. "This was recovered by our patrol ships after one of your mining vessels abandoned it during a hasty departure." The metal piece clearly showed Trilaxian writing and their government seal. The council room erupted in loud voices. Some demanded to examine the evidence. Others called for immediate sanctions against the Trilaxians. HFY, the green-skinned leader who often dismissed human concerns, called for order. "We will need time to verify these claims," he said. "I call for a 2-day recess." As the council members filed out, Commander Hayes noticed how HFY and Voxnar exchanged worried glances. In a private room aboard the human diplomatic ship, Admiral Peterson met with Hayes and a small team of military and intelligence officers. "Show me everything," Peterson ordered. Lieutenant Alex Franklin, their intelligence specialist, displayed more detailed scans on the wall screen. "The Trilaxians aren't just mining," he explained. "Look at these structures they're building." Hayes studied the images. "Those aren't mining equipment. Those are weapon platforms disguised as mining operations." "Exactly," Franklin confirmed. "And they're not just in Ta Ceti. We've detected similar activities in 3 other systems near our territory." Admiral Peterson's face darkened. "They're surrounding us while pretending to negotiate." "It gets worse," Franklin continued. "Our analysts believe these are first-strike weapons. They're designed to hit quickly and without warning." Hayes slammed his fist on the table. "They're preparing for war while talking about peace." Peterson turned to her communication officer. "I need a secure line to President Carter. Now." Back on Earth, President William Carter received their report in the White House Situation Room. Around him sat the leaders of Earth's most powerful nations. "This evidence is clear," said the Chinese president. "They see us as a threat to be eliminated." "Or resources to be taken," added the European Union Chancellor. President Carter stood up. His normally friendly face was now stern and determined. "We came to these talks in good faith. We hoped to join a peaceful galactic community. Instead, we found deception and threats." He looked at each leader in turn. "I propose we withdraw from these negotiations immediately." The room fell silent as they considered the implications. "Withdrawal might trigger the very conflict we hope to avoid," warned the African Union representative. "Staying in fake talks while they prepare to attack us is worse," countered the Russian president. After hours of debate, they reached agreement. President Carter gave the order. The next morning, Maria Gonzalez entered the council chamber alone. The alien representatives fell silent at her serious expression. "Representatives of Earth, thank you for the opportunity to participate in these discussions," she began formally. "However, we have determined that continued talks are not productive at this time." Confused murmurs spread through the chamber. "Earth is officially withdrawing from peace negotiations, effective immediately," Maria continued. "Our delegation will depart within 6 hours." HFY rose from his seat. "This is most unfortunate. Perhaps if your concerns about the Trilaxians. Our concerns extend beyond the Trilaxians, Maria interrupted. We now question the sincerity of the entire council. As she turned to leave, an ancient female alien with silvery skin named Talmera spoke up. You make a grave mistake, humans. Maria paused at the door. No, respected Talmera. The mistake was yours when you decided to treat us as fools instead of equals. With those words, humanity turned its back on the Galactic Council. The Trilaxian mining fleet commander, Dravkor, stood on the bridge of his flagship. His scaled skin gleamed under the ship's lights as he studied the reports about the Epsilon Eridani system. The humans have a small research station here, he told his officers. Nothing significant. Just 20 scientists studying the local planets. His second-in-command looked nervous. But, Commander, this system is claimed by Earth, after what happened at the peace talks. Dravkor laughed. The humans abandoned their claims when they left the Council. My orders come directly from High Command. Expand mining operations into Epsilon Eridani immediately. The system has rich asteroid belts that we need. And if the humans object? Asked another officer. They won't, Dravkor said confidently. They're weak and divided. They make loud noises but have no real power. Begin operations as soon as we arrive. 3 days later, the Trilaxian fleet of 15 ships entered the Epsilon Eridani system. As expected, the human research station sent messages asking about their presence. Inform them we are establishing mining operations by authority of the Galactic Council, Dravkor ordered. Within hours, the humans evacuated their station. Small transport ships carried the scientists away toward Earth. Dravkor watched them leave with satisfaction. See how they flee, he told his officers proudly. These humans understand their place now. The Trilaxians quickly set up their mining equipment on the largest asteroids. Extraction machinery cut into the rock, pulling out valuable metals. Processing plants converted raw ore into usable materials. Within 2 days, the operation was running at full capacity. Production is exceeding expectations, reported the mining supervisor. This system is even richer than we thought. Dravkor was pleased. His superiors would reward him for this successful mission. Then something strange happened. Commander, sensors detect an unknown ship, called the sensor operator. Dravkor looked at the display. A small vessel had appeared near the system's 4th planet. It wasn't approaching, just watching. Identify it, he ordered. Cannot identify. It matches no known design in our database. Dravkor frowned. Send 2 ships to investigate. The patrol ships moved toward the unknown vessel. When they got within 10,000 kilometers, the strange ship simply disappeared. Where did it go? Demanded Dravkor. Unknown, Commander. It did not jump to faster than light speed. It just vanished. 3 hours later, another unidentified ship appeared, this time near the system's star. Again, when Trilaxian ships approached, it disappeared. This pattern continued for 2 days. Soon, Dravkor's crew became nervous. The unknown ships never attacked, never communicated. They just watched and vanished when approached. They appear from nowhere, disappear to nowhere, whispered one crew member. Like ghosts. On the 3rd day, 6 unknown ships appeared simultaneously at different points around the mining operation. They formed a perfect hexagon around the Trilaxian fleet. Dravkor had enough. This is psychological warfare. The humans are trying to scare us with tricks and illusions. But his crew was already scared. Strange equipment failures began occurring throughout the fleet. Mining machines stopped working for no reason. Communication systems picked up whispers in unknown languages. Commander, his second-in-command said quietly, the crew is requesting we leave this system. They believe it is. Haunted. Haunted. Dravkor shouted. That's ridiculous. We are Trilaxians, not superstitious children. That night, as Dravkor slept, all lights in his quarters turned on at once. His computer screen activated, showing a simple message in Trilaxian language: "Leave." The next morning, Dravkor gave the order to pack up all equipment. "We've collected enough samples from this system," he told his officers, trying to save face. "We will return to Trilaxian space for analysis before continuing operations." The fleet departed quickly. As they reached the jump point to leave the system, Dravkor looked back at the sensors. The 6 unknown ships had formed a line, as if watching them leave. When the Trilaxian fleet was gone, Admiral Hayes received a message from Observer Team 6. Mission accomplished. The shadow ship strategy worked perfectly. Hayes smiled. Not a single shot fired, and yet they had defended their territory. The Trilaxians would report to the Council, and the Council would wonder what new technology humans possessed. "Let them wonder," Hayes said softly, "and let them worry." 6 months after walking away from the peace talks, humanity made its first major diplomatic move. But instead of approaching the Galactic Council, they reached out to species on its edges. Ambassador Maria Gonzalez stepped off her ship onto the rocky surface of the Nivrian homeworld. The Nivrians were tall, 4-armed beings with tough skin that looked like tree bark. They had tried to join the Council 3 times, but were always rejected for being too aggressive. A group of Nivrian officials waited for her. Their leader, Chief Karn, stepped forward. "Welcome to Nivria, human," he said in a deep voice. "Your message mentioned a proposal." Maria smiled. "Yes, one I believe will benefit us both." Inside their meeting hall, Maria laid out Earth's offer: a mutual defense agreement and technology exchange. The Nivrians would get access to Earth's advanced medical technology. In return, humans would learn about Nivrian weapon systems. "The Council denied us membership because they feared our military strength," said Chief Karn. "Why do you not fear the same?" "Because Earth respects strength," Maria answered. "We don't fear it." The Nivrians discussed among themselves. Then Chief Karn turned to Maria. "We accept your offer, human. Let our peoples become allies." Similar meetings happened on other worlds. Ambassador Chris Bennett visited the nomadic Kilari, a species that lived on giant space stations instead of planets. The Council had refused them trading rights in many systems. "Earth offers free passage through all our territories," Bennett told the Kilari leaders, "and fair prices for your goods without the Council's heavy taxes." The Kilari agreed immediately. Their colorful ships soon became common sights in human space. Another human diplomat met with the Vortasians, master engineers whose innovations were often claimed by the Council's larger species. Earth offered them protection for their patents and fair payment for their designs. Within weeks, human ships carried delegations to 7 different species, all with reasons to dislike the Council's policies. To each, humanity offered something the Council had denied them: respect, fair trade, or technology without political strings. Back on the Council's central world, Telphorix laughed at reports of these new alliances. "The humans gather friends among the galaxy's leftovers," he told the other Council members. "Let these lesser species join them if they wish." But Tal Mera, the ancient silver-skinned alien, looked troubled. "The humans choose allies with specific strengths that complement their own. This shows careful planning, not desperation." The Council mostly ignored her warning. Then news arrived that shocked everyone. The Athraxi, famous shipbuilders, had signed an exclusive contract with Earth. This was serious. Athraxi quantum-fold drives were key to the Council's military advantages. Their ships could travel faster than anyone else's. "Why would the Athraxi choose humans over us?" demanded Telphorix. An aide handed him a report. "The humans offered a fair price and no political demands. We always required the Athraxi to limit who they sold to." Shenva, the Council's military advisor, finally spoke up. "These primitive humans have identified our key suppliers and secured them one by one. They're cutting us off technologically with remarkable precision." On the newly built human space station, Concordia, Admiral Hayes hosted representatives from all 7 allied species. The station's large meeting room contained beings of many shapes, sizes, and colors. Hayes raised a glass in a toast to new friendships and mutual respect. After drinks were finished, a Kilari captain approached Hayes. "The Council believes you allied with us because you had no other options." Hayes smiled slightly. "A wise enemy should be feared, but an underestimated one should be terrified." The Kilari's eye membranes blinked rapidly, their version of laughter. "I begin to understand why your Earth history contains so many successful rebellions." On the Council's central world, Talmera studied the latest reports from human space. Unlike other Council members, she sensed the pattern in humanity's actions. They weren't randomly seeking allies out of weakness. They were building a carefully balanced coalition. "They're not just walking away," she murmured to herself. "They're building something new." She drafted a message warning the Council to reconsider their approach to humans. When she finished, she hesitated before sending it. Would they listen this time, or continue their dangerous underestimation? With a sigh, she sent the message, knowing it would likely be ignored like her previous warnings. 1 year after humans walked away from peace talks, the Galactic Council decided to show their power. A large ship with the words Galactic Census painted on its side entered the solar system. 3 heavily armed Council peacekeeping ships traveled with it. The census ship sent a message to Earth. "We will conduct a standard population count of your system. This is normal procedure for all inhabited worlds not on the Council." Earth sent no reply. The 4 Council ships continued moving deeper into the solar system, passing the orbit of Neptune. "They're ignoring us," said the census ship captain. "Continue toward their homeworld." The ships passed Uranus, then Saturn. Still no response from Earth. The captain felt uneasy, but followed his orders. As they approached Jupiter's orbit, something unexpected happened. 6 large platforms appeared around them, seeming to come from nowhere. One moment empty space, the next moment 6 weapon platforms arranged in a circle around the Council ships. "Where did those come from?" shouted the captain. "Why didn't our sensors detect them?" A calm human voice came through their communication system. "Council vessels, you have entered Earth's sovereign territory without permission. You have 30 minutes to reverse course and leave our system." The captain contacted Council headquarters and requested reinforcements. "These humans are bluffing," he told his crew. "We will continue our mission." For 29 minutes, the Council ships moved forward. The weapon platforms simply followed them, maintaining their positions. When exactly 30 minutes had passed, bright beams of energy shot out from each platform. They hit the engines of all 4 Council ships with perfect accuracy. The ship's propulsion systems instantly failed. "What happened?" demanded the captain as red warning lights flashed across his control panels. "Our engines are disabled," reported his engineer. The beams somehow shut down all propulsion systems without damaging anything else. Before the captain could respond, dozens of human ships appeared from behind Earth's moon. They had been hiding there, invisible to Council sensors. The human ships surrounded the disabled Council vessels. Admiral Hayes' voice came through the communication system. "Your ships will be towed to the edge of our system and released. Any future unauthorized entry into our territory will be considered an act of war." Meanwhile, Council reinforcements arrived at the outer edge of the solar system. They found their 4 ships waiting for them, engines disabled. Along with the ships was a data package from Earth. It contained details of human military capabilities, information deliberately revealed during the incident. The package showed specifications for cloaking technology that hid the defense platforms, weapons that could disable rather than destroy, and sensors that detected ships in faster-than-light travel. This was only a small sample of what humans possessed. Back on the Council's central world, an emergency meeting was called. The chamber was filled with angry voices. "These humans have violated Council protocol," shouted XL4X. "They disabled our ships without provocation." "Without provocation?" questioned Talmera, her silver skin reflecting the chamber's lights. You sent armed vessels into their territory without permission. We have the right to monitor all inhabited systems, argued HFY. A right they clearly reject, said Talmera. More importantly, consider what they did and did not do. They could have destroyed those ships, but chose to disable and release them instead. Other council members joined the debate. Some wanted to send a military fleet to punish Earth. Others feared starting a war with an enemy whose true strength remained unknown. The humans deliberately showed us some of their technology, noted the military advisor. But what are they still hiding? Why reveal some capabilities but not others? It's a message, said Talmera. They're not showing aggression. They're setting boundaries. They're saying, this is our space. Respect it. As the council argued, Admiral Hayes received congratulations from Earth's leaders. Their plan had worked perfectly. The council now faced uncomfortable questions. How had humans developed such advanced technology so quickly? What other surprises might they have? And could the council afford to find out the hard way? Let them argue, Hayes told his officers. Meanwhile, we continue building our strength and our alliances. 2 weeks after the incident in the solar system, the Galactic Council received a surprising message from Earth. Humanity requested a special council session. The message didn't mention rejoining negotiations. Instead, it stated that humans would present their terms. The council members debated whether to accept this unusual request. We should refuse, said HFY. They abandoned talks. Now they must follow proper procedures to return. I disagree, countered Talmera. Let's hear what they have to say. They've proven themselves more capable than we expected. After much argument, the council agreed to the meeting. 3 days later, Ambassador Maria Gonzalez entered the council chamber. Admiral Hayes and a small team of human advisors accompanied her. Representatives from Earth's 7 new allies followed behind them. The council chamber, once a place where human representatives were routinely interrupted and dismissed, fell completely silent. Maria took her position at the speaker's platform. Thank you for agreeing to this session. Earth has 4 non-negotiable requirements for peaceful relations with the Council. HFY shifted uncomfortably in his seat. He wasn't used to hearing demands from non-Council species. Maria continued, her voice calm but firm. First, the Council must recognize all current human territories and colonies. Second, the Trilaxians must pay for their illegal mining operations in our space. Third, there must be an investigation into Council members who deliberately sabotaged previous negotiations. Fourth, Earth and our allied species must receive equal voting rights in all Council matters. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. HFY stood up, his green skin darkening with anger. These demands are outrageous. You ask for privileges that took other species centuries to earn. Maria simply nodded to Admiral Hayes. He activated a small device on his wrist. Suddenly, a large holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed detailed images of secret Council military bases, weapons development facilities, and private communications between Council members discussing plans to contain the human problem. We could have shared this intelligence with everyone in the galaxy, Hayes said quietly. Instead, we bring it here as evidence of why the current system must change. The Council chambers exploded into chaos. Species accused each other of sharing secrets. Military representatives demanded to know how humans obtained this classified information. Through the confusion, Earth's 7 allies stood firmly with the human delegation. The Nivrians, Kilari, Ortasians, and others showed their support with their presence. You've had a year to consider us enemies, Maria said when the noise finally decreased. You've had a year to plan how to control us, contain us, or even attack us. She paused, looking around the chamber. Now you have 1 week to consider us partners instead. After that, we will proceed with or without Council recognition. Talmera spoke up, her ancient voice somehow cutting through the tension. What does that mean, precisely? Hayes answered, it means we and our allies will form our own cooperative. We will establish our own rules for trade, territory, and mutual defense. The Council can work with us or compete against us." Voxnar, the Trilaxian representative, laughed nervously. "You can't possibly think a handful of minor species can challenge the established order of the galaxy." "We don't wish to challenge it," Maria replied. "We wish to improve it. But we will not participate in a system that treats some species as inherently superior to others." As the human delegation prepared to leave, Tal Mera approached them privately. "You must understand the difficulty of what you ask. The Council has operated in certain ways for thousands of years." Hayes nodded. "Change is always difficult, but sometimes it's necessary." "And if we refuse your terms," asked Tal Mera. "Then both sides lose potential benefits," said Maria. "We prefer cooperation, but we've prepared for all possibilities." Back on their ship, Maria looked at Hayes. "Do you think they'll agree?" Hayes watched the Council station through the viewport. "They don't want to, but they're beginning to realize they might need to." For the next 7 days, the entire galaxy held its breath, waiting for the Council's decision. For 6 tense days, the entire galaxy waited. Ships from all major species moved into strategic positions. Earth's allies sent their fleets to human-controlled systems as a show of solidarity. On the Council's central world, emergency meetings continued day and night. The chamber was closed to all except full Council members. Inside, Tal Mera led a growing group that supported accepting human terms. "They could have built an empire against us," she reminded her colleagues. "Instead, they offer partnership with conditions." Delphorix and his supporters argued fiercely against change. "If we give in to these demands, other species will make similar claims. The entire structure of galactic governance could collapse." Old alliances broke as Council members chose sides. Species that had voted together for centuries now found themselves opposed. The debate grew so heated that several representatives threatened to leave the Council regardless of the final decision. On the 7th day, just hours before the human deadline, the Council announced its decision. They would accept all human terms. A formal signing ceremony was quickly arranged. The Council chamber was filled with representatives from over 50 species. Earth's delegation entered to complete silence, not hostile as before, but respectful. Delphorix, as Council leader, signed the new agreement first. His hands trembled slightly, but his voice was steady. "The Council acknowledges past mistakes in our approach to Earth. We welcome humans and their allies as full and equal members of the galactic community." Maria signed for Earth, followed by representatives from the 7 allied species. When the last signature was complete, the chamber erupted in applause. The new agreement brought immediate changes. Species previously denied Council seats were granted membership. Committees were restructured to prevent domination by any single group. The balance of power shifted to include a wider range of civilizations. 3 months later, Admiral Hayes stood at a viewport on the Concordia station. He watched ships from 23 different species maneuver in formation. It was the first truly cooperative galactic defense fleet, with vessels from both former Council worlds and Earth's allies. Ambassador Gonzalez joined him at the window. "I received word that the Trilaxians have begun paying reparations for their illegal mining," she said. "And the investigation into Council corruption has already removed 3 high-level officials." Hayes nodded. "Good. Real progress." Gonzalez studied his face. "Was this your plan all along, John? Walking away from talks only to return stronger?" Hayes smiled slightly. "Not exactly a plan. More of an opportunity. They thought our withdrawal was emotional, anger, or pride. They never considered it might be strategic." On Earth, citizens celebrated news that the revised Galactic Charter had been fully implemented. Humanity's brief period of isolation had ended with their emergence as a cornerstone species of a more fair galactic community. President Carter addressed the United Nations. "A century ago, we looked to the stars and wondered if we were alone. Today, we know not only that we have neighbors, but that we have the strength and wisdom to stand among them as equals." He paused, looking at the delegates from around the world. We achieved this not through conquest or domination, but through the courage to walk away from a bad deal until respect was given. Across the galaxy, millions of beings watched the speech translated into their languages. Many had lived their entire lives under the old council system, never questioning its fairness. Now they saw new possibilities. In the council chamber, now renamed the Galactic Assembly, Tal Mera spoke with a newly admitted representative from a small aquatic species. "I've lived for 700 years," she told him. "I've seen empires rise and fall. But I'd never seen change happen so quickly or completely as when the humans walked away from our table." The aquatic being bubbled curiously. What made them so different? "Most species want to join the powerful," Tal Mera explained. "Humans required the powerful to be just." Among diplomats throughout the galaxy, a new saying entered common use: "Be careful how you treat those at your table. They may return with their own."